Yes, today I'm going to take you on safari. Well, obviously not literally take you on a safari because that would be a bit odd. So let's talk about the magic of a safari holiday. So really what I want to do is look at um, what does that involve? Where do we go? What do we consider? And what are the impacts? Because that's really important to me from a travel perspective. So, safaris is a unique and exhilarating way to experience the natural world, whatever your age. It's great for families. It's great for honeymoons. It's great for groups of people traveling together. It's also great for solos. So, it's a great holiday option. So, let's talk about why that is so. So, the type of safari that you choose often depends upon the wildlife and the landscapes that you want to explore. So there might be something that you want to see specifically. You might want to see the wildebeest do their annual migration. That's at certain times of the year. It doesn't happen every week, every month. So it can also be dependent on the level of luxury that you want in, whether you want comfort or whether what suits your budget as well. So popular types of safaris, the big one is the big five. Photographic safari is becoming more and more popular, particularly with bird watchers. Migration safaris that I've talked about earlier, bird watching that I've just said there, and cultural safari. So just a reminder, the big five: lions, elephants, buffalo, leopards, and rhinos. Okay, so the African safari. So when people think of safari, we automatically tend to think about the African safari. So what kind of things are we looking at for an African safari? Well, we're talking about wildlife encounters. That's where you can go and see a range of wildlife. We've talked about the big five already, but there are so many other species and so many other natural habitats to experience as well on safari. Stunning landscapes, explore some of Africa's most breathtaking landscapes. Savannas, Serengeti, lush wetlands, that just it's so diverse. It's a great way to get to see them in their see animals in their natural environment, but also to look at the landscapes that they're in as well. Some of the pictures and photography that my clients have had has just been incredible. You can also get a great cultural immersion as well. So it's a way for you to interact with the local communities, and it's really encouraged. And you can learn about their traditions, how they live, their lifestyles. And, you know, it's important for them. And I'll come on to why it's important for them and how it actually benefits them with tourists going on safari. Okay, so safari wildlife encounters. When people think about safaris, they do want to think about the wildlife. What photographs am I going to get? How close am I going to get? Will that giraffe eat food out of my hand? Well, yes, it will if you stay at Giraffe Manor. Google Giraffe Manor after this presentation, obviously. But Giraffe Manor, fantastic on the East Coast. Have breakfast and feed the giraffes as well as they stick their heads through the windows. So Africa's got fantastic ecosystems and it offers an incredible range of biodiversity. Loads of different animals. We've talked about the big five. We've talked about wildebeest, but there's also hippos, gorillas, antelope, zebras, crocodiles, fabulous bird life as well. As I say, it's a big, for migratory birds, it's a big attraction for photographers looking at migratory birds, but also things like the African grey parrot. A lot of people in the UK, or many people in the UK, have African grey parrots as pets. They are very talkative, they're very affectionate, they're fantastic birds. But actually to see them in their local environment, their natural environment, is just a completely world away from having it as a household pet. Loads of reptiles and insects and spiders. I try not to talk about those because that's where people get a bit itsy about those. So this thing. So this is from one of my clients. I've cut it short because it goes on for quite a while. But what I wanted for you to experience there is the sensory experience, the sights, the sounds, the animal calls, just fantastic. It really is a feast for the senses. So whereabouts will you be staying? Oops, get rid of that. Whereabouts will you be staying? What does the accommodation look like? Well, as with any holiday, there's a choice of accommodation, and it depends on your preferences and your budget. Depends on how much you want to be immersed into the local cultures, the local environments. You could stay in a luxury safari lodge, so that would give you something like a private chalet or a tent. High-end amenities, you'd have an ensuite bathroom, gourmet dining, spa services, often located in prime wildlife viewing areas and providing comfort and luxury in the heart of nature. You could be looking at a tented camp. These are semi-permanent or mobile tented accommodations, or looking at a bush camp, which is really more basic and intimate camp in remote wilderness areas. So you've got minimalist amenities there with a focus more being on the natural surroundings. Perfect for those that are looking for that great adventure or something that's kind of rustic and off-grid and real local experience. I mentioned earlier about conservation and responsibility, and it's key. It really is a priority. And the two key areas that safari providers and facilitators look at is the habitat protection. So how good are we at protecting the environments that these animals are in, that they have sufficient space, they've got regular food, and they've got shelter so that they can thrive. The other part of it is responsible tourism, and we hear more and more about this. And I'm not going to lie, I do feel there's a bit of greenwashing going on within travel around responsible and sustainable tourism. One area that I do feel has got it right is the safaris. They've been doing it for so long, but they really promote ethical and sustainable safari tourism. They respect the wildlife, they minimise environmental impacts, and they contribute to local communities for the long-term conservation, but also to those key safari destinations as well. And what I mean by that is supporting local cultures and communities. So we've got economic opportunities that arise from tourism, and they provide local communities with jobs. So we've got income generating businesses, opportunities through tour operators, through guides, through cooks, drivers, and craftspeople, artisans, who can find employment and thereby grow their livelihood and really support the residents of the local areas of which surround the game reserves. There's also the infrastructure development as well. And we know what infrastructure is like in the UK. Try and get a road built or repaired, it's a bit of a nightmare. But actually, the money that comes from tourism, the revenues that are generated from safaris, often contribute to that infrastructure. Really develops the region, includes better roads, improved healthcare, schooling, that kind of thing. So the overall quality of life for the local residents is essential, and the revenues from tourism really support that. Okay, so in summary, as you can see, safari is many things. It's a journey of adventure and relaxation. It's a way to witness the awe-inspiring beauty of nature. And it's a way to support future conservation and a way to preserve cultures and positively shape local communities. So it's much more than just seeing animals on a holiday. It is deeper than that. And that's what I love about safaris. And it really is something for everyone. Budget, absolutely. Luxury, absolutely. I mean, I've got a client who did a private jet safari and took a private jet between each game reserves. I mean, that's extravagance beyond extravagance. But that was what they wanted to do. They wanted to see as much as they could in the shortest time that they could. So, okay, a little bit of a quiz for you. I've got 5 questions. Pens to the ready. Okay, right, collective nouns. Collective nouns. Okay, so question 1. What is the collective noun for elephants? Question 2. What is the collective noun for a giraffe? Question 3. What is the collective noun for hyenas? And what is the collective noun for a lion? Is that 4 or 5? 4, 5, 4. Last one then. What's the collective noun for vultures? Okay. Get yourselves off mute and let's have some answers. So, collective noun for elephants? Anyone?
Is it a pod?
Not a pod. Not a pod. Any other guesses? I'll come back to a pod.
Herd.
A herd, yes, you could have a herd. The alternative to a herd would be a parade of elephants. Quite like that.
Parade.
Sounds graceful, but elephants are not that graceful. Peter, a pod is dolphins. Pod of dolphins. Giraffe. Multiple giraffes. Multiple giraffes.
A neck.
A neck. Good guess. I like that. I like that.
I like that.
No, it's a journey. So if it's multiple giraffes, it's a journey of giraffes. If it's a single giraffe, it's a tower of giraffes. Interesting. Lions. Oh no, we had hyenas. Hyenas. Collective noun for hyenas.
Isn't that something like a gaggle or a cackle or something like that?
I think it's a cackle, isn't it?
It's a cackle. Yes,
Yeah.
a cackle. Lions. Did we do lions or leopards?
Lion.
Lions.
Lions. Easy one. Pride.
Pride.
Pride of lions. And the last one, kettle of vultures, is the last one. A kettle of vultures. So that's me. Any questions?
We've got time for one quick question because we have gone over, but obviously we're early on time anyway. Anyone got any questions?
Just a quick question. When would, other than the migration, when would be the best time to go on safari?
You can go anytime, James. You can go anytime for on safari. If you think of what you want to see, so if you want to see the younger animals, so the newborns, that's January, February, March. That's the best time to go and see that. If you're looking at the migration, you're looking at March, April, but you can go on safari at any point. So there's no, I guess weather would play a part in that, but you can go any time. And to combat the weather, East Coast Africa tends to outplay the dates where it's wetter in South Africa and vice versa. But there's also things like gorilla safaris in Uganda that you can do. So there's lots of things, lots of different ways.
Excellent.
Any other questions?
I've got one question. Out of, because obviously there's many places in Africa, if you wanted to, can you handle like volunteering at like lion rehabilitation centres and things like that? Is that something that you can arrange as well?
Yes, it is. I've got some suppliers that will absolutely support the volunteering. I've got two in particular, one called Intrepid, and I've got a local supplier called Sense of Africa, who absolutely will encourage that as well. So if someone wanted to do a longer stay and wanted to do, say, 2 weeks in a rehabilitation centre with the animals, absolutely, yes, we can do that as part of a trip.